Want to know exactly what to say to get the right prospects on the phone with you? That's exactly what I'm going to share with you here, so let's dive right in. Hey guys, what's going on? Yuri Elkaim here, CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. We help health professionals and coaches get clients and scale their businesses online. I was doing some thinking a little while ago about you don't want to waste time with the wrong people on the phone, right? When people book a call with you, you want to make sure that these people are the right fit, they're somewhat informed about how you can help them, and you're not having blind calls, i.e., what do you do? How exactly can you help? You don't want to run into situations like that. So what I'm about to share with you is kind of a 6-question spectrum that will help you get in the mind of your prospect so you can address these concerns or questions so the right people get on the phone with you and you can move the wrong people away. Now, before we dive into this, I want to provide a little bit of context because what I'm sharing with you here is in relation to the business model that we run and that we help our clients run, which is a perfect client pipeline. If you don't know what that is, click the link below this video, watch our perfect client pipeline training so you have a bit more context about the 4-step business model we help all of our clients run. It's helped them generate more than $217 million in their coaching businesses. But here's the context. So we're running paid traffic to a webinar. On the webinar, we're informing people, breaking beliefs, introducing your way as the better way of helping them solve a specific problem. And the next step is for them to book a call. Now, someone has watched this webinar and they're thinking to themselves, cool, this is the next step. However, this is a very important bridge that you want to build very carefully, very judiciously, because you can completely alienate people or you can have a flood of calls with the wrong people based on what you share about who it's for, who it's not for. As an example, we had a client a couple years ago who, when she launched her pipeline, she was spending like $11 to get a call booked. Like obviously she's paying money on ads to bring people in, and it was ridiculous. She had like 80 calls booked in a week, and it was like, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread, until she had the calls and everyone she was speaking with was looking to pick her brain for free. And then we've had other people who put in so many barriers that no one books a call because there's too much friction. So what I want to share with you here is to help you understand what is happening in the prospect's mind about why they would or would not book a call with you and how you can repel those people who are looking for freebies versus those people who actually want to take the next step with you. What I'm going to share with you are what I have seen over time, again, based on pattern recognition of thousands of these cases, what I have recognized over time as the 6 internal questions prospects ask themselves about whether or not it makes sense for them to book a call with you. So in this order, I'm gonna give this to you. Prospect is saying, I'm very busy. Is this going to be worth my time? That's what they're saying to themselves when they're looking at your invitation to speak with you. Now, this also applies if you're posting on social media or if you're sending out an email saying like, hey, if you want to work with me, here's the next step, okay? Is this going to be worth my time? I'm very busy, okay? I'm very busy. Is this going to be worth my time? Second possible question is, am I really going to learn anything new here? We'll come back to these. Third, what's the catch? Why is this free? Fourth, what if I don't have the money for this? Fifth, am I going to be pressured into buying something? And sixth, this is perfect. Now I can probably pick your brain and then do it for myself or do it myself. Okay. So in my experience, these questions flow in descending order from most qualified or, better quality prospects into real energy vampire, soul-sucking freebie seekers, okay? So let's look at this in reverse order. So the people that you want to avoid are those people who don't value their time nor value your time, and they're only looking to get free information from you, or the first thing they're wondering about is what's this going to cost, okay? So let's look at this. So at the last question we talked about, this is perfect. Now I can probably pick your brain and then do it myself. If the prospect is thinking about this when you offer to speak with them about possibly taking the next step together, you have to be aware that this could be a mindset, a question, a statement in their mind. So what does that mean to you? How do you avoid these people from booking a call with you? Well, you very plainly tell them that if you're just looking to pick my brain and get free information, this is not for you. So right out of the gate, you say, this is not for you if you have zero intention of investing in your own health, whether or not we work together, but you're someone who just leeches from one person to the next and you're just looking to pick my brain, absolutely free. Don't even go ahead. Do not book that call. It's not for you. So this is kind of the first statement you can use to avoid those people from booking a call with you. If we take one step up, so the next question was, am I going to be pressured into buying something? So this is something that's, if you think about this, none of us want to be pressured into buying something. But usually those who are least willing to invest in themselves are the most scared about being pressured into buying something. So let me break this down. If someone doesn't want to be pressured into buying something, that means that they're less likely to even want to buy something in the first place. Or perhaps they've made bad decisions in the past, which is holding them back from making a good decision, potentially in working with you. So how do you address this in your marketing, specifically in the context of a webinar or a social post or email that goes out? Am I going to be pressured into buying something? How do you reduce that concern? Well, you very simply state, my goal, quite honestly, my goal is not to sell you anything. My goal is to act as a custodian to help you do what's best for you. So it's not about closing the deal, it's about opening a relationship. It's about me helping you do what's best for you. Make sense there? So we're removing the pressure of saying like, I'm not here to pressure you into buying anything. In fact, like in our case, we only invite 22% of people we speak with to take the next step with us. And that's because our job is to help you do and uncover what's best for you. And that might not be working with us, but if it is, we can show you what that looks like. You see how that kind of alleviates that concern about pressure? And then you can follow up with saying, but just to be clear, if you're looking to pick my brain and get some free information, this is not for you. So now we can kind of take those two bottom beliefs or questions or concerns and we can annihilate them in one. So what happens is either the person is like, yeah, that's not me, I'll move on, which is great. Now you're not wasting your time with someone who's not qualified. So let's go up another level. What if I don't have the money for this? What if I don't have the money for this? So this is a very valid concern. Now we're starting to get into people who are wanting help potentially, but they might be concerned that they don't have the funds or it might be too expensive. And so this is where you can let people know, you can price anchor a little bit here. So you can say, listen, if you're concerned about the price, I totally understand, and we'll get to price and I'll happily talk about price once we understand your situation. And once we understand your situation, we can prescribe the best game plan for your specific scenario. Okay, so it's like if you got a ding in your car, if you got sideswiped or something and you're like calling up the body shop, hey, what's this gonna cost? They're gonna tell you, how are we supposed to give you a quote we haven't even seen in the car? It's the same idea here. So I'm totally happy to talk about price if that's something you're thinking about, and we'll talk about what that looks like once we assess where you are, where you wanna go, what's standing in your way, and what that game plan would look like. At that point, happy to talk about the best scenario or the best solution for your scenario, for your situation. So that's the first piece of it. The second piece is you can price anchor here. Now, regardless of your situation, the good news is you're not gonna have to drop $500,000 to work with me personally in this type of fashion. The good news is that because I've been doing this for so long, we have figured out a way to provide highly personalized, deeply handheld care and coaching at a fraction of what it would normally cost you if we were to work one-on-one in this other type of scenario. So 500,000 obviously is an exaggeration, but for you, it might be, think about what it would cost for someone to work with you in a in-person setting with all of the time you've put in to working with them in person relative to what they would get from you online. So if you were to work with a client once a week for 12 weeks and it costs them $5,000 in person, and online, you could connect with them on a daily basis for 12 weeks, you could do, well, it would be $5,000 times 7, right? 7 days a week instead of one time a week. Instead of paying $35,000, what it would normally cost you if we're doing it in this other situation, this other context, it's gonna be a fraction of that. And we'll get to that on the call once we establish that there's a good fit here. Cool? So you've price anchored something higher. Now they have that in their mind coming into the call, because the challenge a lot of times when you're speaking to someone, I don't know if there's ever been a situation where you or myself or anyone else hasn't come into a enrollment conversation without some price context. We're thinking for some price expectation. Well, I'm thinking I'm happy to spend $2K on this, and then the price is $4, and you're like, shit, it's more than I was expecting. It's very hard to overcome expectations. And one of the only ways we can do that is by price anchoring before they book a call, or even in the lead up to the call. So they're coming in with a more realistic expectation based on the price that you anchor for them initially. Make sense? Okay, so we're gonna take it one step up. What's the catch? Why is this free? In general, there are, and again, I'm just using my experience talking to business owners and entrepreneurs, there is a certain skepticism that comes about. When you've done many things, some things have worked, some things haven't. So you've kind of been around the block a few times. You're thinking to yourself, why is this call free, right? What's the catch? And you just tell them straight up. Here's why this is free. Number one, I don't know you, you don't know me. So the best way to establish some type of relationship and allow me to add some value to your life is by offering this call for you for free. And what that allows me to do is show you before I ask for anything in return. Now, the other reason I offer this call for free is because I know a percentage of people I speak with, now again, in our case, it's 22%, that's a real number. I know a percentage of people that we speak with are gonna want our help to get what we talk about even faster with less frustration, et cetera, et cetera. If that's you, amazing. If not, that's totally fine as well. At least we'll part as friends. You'll have a cool game plan and clarity about what you can try to figure out on your own. So now we've addressed the elephant in the room. We said, here's why it's free. Let's start the relationship instead of closing a deal. And then we know that if you enjoy this and you find value here, that a percentage of people I speak with will want my help. That's why for me as a business owner, it makes sense to run this call for free. And for you as the prospect, you have nothing to risk. Cool. Taking one step up. So now we're kind of, again, going to reverse up this pyramid of internal dialogue. Am I really going to learn something new here? So this is with people, again, we're getting to a more sophisticated prospect. For people who have done this, and this, they're thinking to themselves, I've seen this before, and that's the worst possible internal dialogue you want your prospects to have. Novelty is one of the biggest drivers of human behavior. So when you offer something new, or at least is positioned as something new, because really we're not inventing anything new, we're just repositioning things, it becomes the thing that gets people interested. So one of the most powerful ways of addressing this question, I'm gonna address both things. So am I really gonna learn anything new here? And the leading question, the top question we talked about right at the start was, I'm very busy. Is this going to be worth my time? i.e., am I going to learn anything new, right? Like those are very synonymous. So what we're going to do is I'm going to address both of those concerns with the same approach. And the one approach that's worked very well for our clients is when you can position your call as the prospect is going to uncover a blind spot they were unaware of. So on this call, we're going to have a look at where you are, where you want to go. We're going to have a look at the challenges that are holding you back. And once we identify those challenges, we'll be able to put together a game plan to help you get there faster. Now, having done this many times before, what I've realized is that most people are not even aware of the real challenge that's standing in their way. And that's one of the things that we're going to uncover on this call together. So you might be thinking you have challenges X, Y, Z, but you might not even be thinking about challenge C. And the biggest danger you have to achieving your goals are the blind spots you can't even see on your own. That's the first thing that we're going to uncover together on this call. All of a sudden now, you have positioned yourself as a detective, as someone who's going to bring some type of insight and intel they would have never otherwise known. And this becomes very, very alluring for people who are stuck at a plateau and who have enjoyed some degree of success in their life. So let's say that someone is very active, right? They want to lose the last 10 pounds, they've been working out, they've been eating well, and they're thinking to themselves, I've done all this stuff. Why am I going to spend my time speaking with you only to be shown more of the same stuff? And that's a very valid concern. So you have to be able to address this slightly more sophisticated, in terms of their experience, prospect. And we can address this stuff by saying, listen, like, you've probably done all the workouts. You've already followed all the diet plans. You've probably worked out with a trainer. So we're already addressing the things that they're going to tell us they've already done anyways. But I can promise you this, there's one thing holding you back that none of these approaches have told you about. And it's the one thing that's standing in your way. We're going to help you uncover that in 45 minutes and get to the root and put a game plan together to solve it once and for all. Now, part of that is a claim. Now with a claim comes believability. So they might say to themselves, well, I don't believe that to be true. What if you're telling me stuff I already know? And that's obviously a certain risk that you have to take in terms of how it's positioned. But what some of our clients have done is, for instance, we have a client who helps those with back pain, and she runs a Zoom call instead of on the phone. And one of the first things that she does on the call, or after some of the discovery questions, is she'll just basically do a simple assessment of the person's posture and how they sit. And based on that simple diagnostic 20-second assessment, she can pinpoint the one issue that's standing in that person's way that's causing them to have the back pain, and based on that can identify whether or not they're a good fit for her to work together with. All of a sudden, this person's like, oh my God, I had no clue, right? And that becomes very, very powerful. Everyone wants to know, what bucket do I fall into? And based on that knowledge, what do I do now? That's why quizzes are so powerful, right? What type of birthday cake are you? I'm chocolate, I'm vanilla, whatever. And as human beings, we always want to be, as much as we talk about labeling as being bad, we all want to be labeled. We all want to be labeled because it gives us a mnemonic, a shortcut to making sense of our world. So when you can say to someone, you have back pain, you can't lose weight, you have low energy, and you can promise someone to some degree, we're going to identify the one thing holding you back right now, that if we unleash this one thing and unlock it, you're going to have this result that you want. There's an element of curiosity. There's an element of mystery, intrigue. I've got to know what this thing is. So now the risk is, well, this might waste my time if I uncover something that is seemingly I knew that already. But the flip side is like, well, what if I do uncover something that is game changing? Now the risk or the benefit cost analysis tips in your favor. Like we get into FOMO. It's like, well, what if, maybe I do discover something I already knew, but what if I miss out on something I didn't know? And what if that one thing could unlock everything I've been looking for? Now the benefit of them booking a call, even if they're super busy, even if they've tried everything else before, is much higher better because now the benefit of doing so, right? There always has to be a benefit. What's in it for me is very, very clear. So if you want better quality prospects on the phone, everything I've walked you through should be articulated in some way, shape, or form. This is not for you if you're looking to pick my brain and get free information, right? Step number one, are you gonna be pressured into buying anything? Well, my goal here is not to pressure you into buying anything. My goal is not to close the sale, but to open a relationship, to act as a custodian, to help you do what's best for you. And if that happens to be working together, great, we can talk about that. If not, it's all good. What if I don't have the money for this? Again, we've addressed that. I'm not gonna go into it here again for time purposes. What's the catch? Why is this free? Well, why it's free is because I don't know you, you don't know me, I wanna add some value, and if you like what you see, and a percentage of people I speak with historically have wanted to take the next step. So for me, it makes sense. Hopefully it does for you as well. And I'm busy, is this gonna make sense of my time, or am I gonna learn anything new? Again, you hint at the one thing that's held them back. Based on that one discovery, you're gonna help them put together a specific game plan for their situation. That game plan obviously segues into you and your solution, your coaching program, etc. When you can position your calls, your discovery calls, your enrollment calls, whatever you call them, in those type of contextual arguments or statements, all of a sudden we reduce a lot of the risk or the perceived risk the prospect has. We increase the desire for wanting to have this conversation. And now the conversation is not a sales call. It's a call that is of value to them, a consultative, detective, here's my situation, what should I do about it type of call. And when you provide that type of context and when you are on the phone with someone and you can add value to them in the form of clarity, not how to 1, 2, 3 steps, clarity, that's where the value comes from. They will see you as a trusted expert to help them solve that problem because now you have been able to articulate their problem in such a way they haven't even thought of before. Naturally, you probably have a solution that's different than what they've tried. So give that a shot. Rewatch this video a few times if you need to make sense of those different layers again. Hopefully this has made sense for you. If it has, let me know what you've liked most about this in the comments below. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, guys.